Hey guys, welcome back to Trellis and Trails Homestead. If you're new here, this is not my normal content. I focus a lot on gardening, sourdough baking, and other homesteading activities, not travel vlogs, but we went to Iceland a few weeks ago, and I just thought I would touch on some of our highlights of our trip. This is our third time in Iceland, so this is not meant to be like a very touristy vlog or anything like that if you're looking to go to Iceland. But I thought I would share just a few highlights from our trip because it truly is one of our favorite destinations to visit, hence why we've been there 3 times. One of my all-time top favorite places in Iceland is this tomato farm. It's called Friedheimer. It's located in the Golden Circle. If you're familiar with that area of Iceland, then you'll probably know where this is at. It is very touristy, super popular, but it is an absolutely amazing place. They grow their own tomatoes in this greenhouse. You can see here, these tomatoes are very well established. These vines are massive. They go like floor to ceiling height in the greenhouse there. They grow all their own tomatoes. They grow fresh basil and other herbs. And then you can sit down and have a lunch or dinner tomato soup buffet. And it is the best tomato soup I've ever had in my entire life. It is so, so good. So they make their tomato soup from their tomatoes, obviously. They also have things like tomato beer, tomato desserts, tomato flatbreads, all sorts of things. This place is so unique compared to other places in Iceland because if you know Iceland, you'll know that they don't grow any of their own produce. Everything is imported in. So the fact that they have a greenhouse growing tomatoes located in the Golden Circle is so amazing. And you can see they have their own like water irrigation system. It is all geothermal powered with the surrounding geothermal areas and hot springs. Here is the tomato soup bar with their fresh homemade bread. So delicious. They also have a bar area. You have to make a reservation to eat at Friedheimer in advance, well in advance, because it has become a really popular place. The bar is so cute. I got a tomato latte on our way out, which was delicious. And here's just an outside view of the greenhouse. So cute, so aesthetic. It's actually like just a vibe being there. And I always love to see how they're growing these massive tomato plants in this greenhouse. On the way in and out, there are horses there. They do some horse shows and things like that. These are some friendly, funny horses. They were eating at that moment, so they weren't paying any attention to us. And then on the way to our Airbnb, we saw these horses being corralled to the area that they needed to be for the night. And there's just tons of Icelandic horses everywhere, just on the side of the road. Usually they're pretty friendly. This was a view right outside of our Airbnb. It was about 10:30 p.m. at this time. And you can see the sun has not even set yet. We were in Iceland in May, so about 20 hours of daylight at the time, about 18 to 20 hours. But even when it got dark, it never really got completely dark. So these horses were fun to see just right outside of our back door of our Airbnb. Several of our Airbnbs this trip were on horse farms specifically. So there were many horses to go around. We visited lots of waterfalls this trip, like usual. Most of these we had seen before. This is Seljalandsfoss in the southern region of Iceland. Before you get to Skogafoss if you're coming from Reykjavik. So beautiful and easily accessible as there's a parking area right off the road for this one. Usually pretty popular and kind of busy depending on the time of the year that you're there, but gorgeous to see. You can kind of walk behind this one as well. You will get wet, so just be prepared. Have rain gear, waterproof gear on. But it's just stunning. There's also a little bit of hiking around this area and several other sort of hidden waterfalls. This is one of the smaller waterfalls kind of on the hiking trail. And you can just see the stream running down. And then there's more of a very hidden waterfall. You kind of have to walk to it through a little bit of a cave. And like I said, you'll definitely get wet. We did. But once you get back there, it is just stunning. Absolutely amazing. This one's just kind of tucked into the canyon. Here's some just little historic buildings and things in that area. On our drive, we saw sheep, lots of sheep in Iceland. It obviously was calving season because there's baby sheep everywhere. So that was cool to see. And then this is my favorite waterfall in Iceland. I know it doesn't look as cool as some of the others, but it's absolutely one of my favorites. It's called Cavernifoss, and some of my pronunciations may not be exactly correct for these, but I'll make sure to include the names on the screen so you can see them in case you're interested in visiting sometime. I just love the little canyon walk to get to this one. We went to this one back in 2019 when we went to Iceland for the first time, and it did not have like a walkway path going to it. This is actually right beside Skogafoss. You don't really know it's there, or previously didn't really know it's there. There's a sign up for it now, so if you know what you're looking for, you'll be able to find it. But previously, there was not any signage for it. It was not really visited. It was very much a hidden waterfall. So we had to take some sketchy little paths to get to it and kind of some canyon climbing. But now there's a walkway, and you don't have to do any of that. It's a little more populated, but still not as busy as some of the other waterfalls. You can literally go behind this one as well. Most of them you can walk behind, which is absolutely amazing. And the rainbow at the time just added to its beauty. So here's Skogafoss. This is the top of Skogafoss, a very popular waterfall, also very easily accessible. We actually ended up doing a little Highlands hike past Skogafoss that led to 13 different waterfalls. Super underrated. This hike was amazing. So if you go to the top of Skogafoss, there is a trail. I think it's a 15-mile one-way trail. We only went 3 miles in and then 3 miles back out, but the 3 miles basically gets you to all 13 waterfalls. There is one, we only saw 12. There is one that's just a little bit further than where we wanted to go because it was already like evening time. So we just headed back before we walked to the very last waterfall. So what you see here in this video is basically 12 of them. The trail and the hike itself was amazing, just as amazing as seeing the waterfalls. But just the fact that these are hidden and tucked away in these canyon areas is just so impressive. The water is pretty blue there, and you can't really grasp the magnitude of how massive these are and this entire area, this entire landscape. It is just massive. You don't understand the vastness of it until you actually see it in person, I don't think. And the landscapes in Iceland are just so unique. Here is Skogafoss in the evening, a less populated Skogafoss because it was nighttime. Our hotel was right outside of Skogafoss, so it was very convenient. We visited the Fagradalsfjall volcano. This is the one that erupted in, I believe, 2020, 2021, and 2023. Massive eruption. This is on the southwest corner, actually near Grindavik, where the current eruption is happening right now. This was absolutely incredible to see as well. One of the coolest things I think I've ever seen. Like I said, the last eruption was in 2023 for this one. I think maybe March of 2023. I could be a little bit mixed up on the dates there, but it still had steaming hot lava. This is a lava field, still very steaming, still very hot, even though it was about a year ago that it last erupted. The top is there kind of in the top of the frame. And it still is a very active volcano. And according to predictions and based on history in the last 4 years, it is actually due to erupt again, probably at any point in the next year or so. You can just see how amazing this like hardened lava is on the outskirts of the lava field here. The inner parts, like I said, you can see that it's still smoking. Those are not all completely hardened, but the outskirts are. And we are hiking to the top of it, or attempting to. But the weather came in and it got a little rough, so we didn't make it to the very top of the volcano. But that's okay because we still got to see basically everything we needed to see. It was very, very cloudy and starting to rain, very windy on this day. But it kind of just added to the eeriness of it. There's something wild about seeing a volcano post-eruption like that still has steaming hot lava fields. Here is one of the beaches nearby. This isn't one of the black sand beaches, but still a gorgeous beach. And we went to Thingvellir National Park. We've been here several times before. You can actually see the tectonic plates here in this park, the tectonic plates between North America and Europe. Actually, the North American and the Eurasian tectonic plates. So seeing literal cracks in the earth, and there's water in this area. You can actually snorkel and scuba dive in parts of this park, which is truly phenomenal. I would like to do that one time on my visits to Iceland, but I'm actually really nervous too. You can see it's raining here. This is one of the areas, one of the fissures that you can snorkel in. Here's another view of it. And the water, I think, is about 38 degrees year round. So it's kind of a cold excursion if that's something that you want to do. This is one of the waterfalls in that national park. I think it's pronounced Oxera Falls waterfall. And there's just a little hike to get to it. One of the absolute coolest things that we did this trip was booked a little excursion to the lava tunnel. You can book a tour, either a 1-hour tour or the 4-hour extreme tour, which is what we booked. And we were the only 2 people with our guide that had booked this one. So it was cool. It was like a one-on-one experience with our tour guide, where we hiked about 0.8 miles into the back of a lava tunnel that was created by a volcano about 5,000 years ago. This tunnel is very established, but you can see it is just boulder fields all the way. If you book the 1-hour tour, there's a walkway, so it's not as sketchy as this. You do still have to wear a helmet just for safety purposes. But this is not for everyone. I'll just go ahead and tell you, this was a slightly extreme little hike here because you are climbing over rocks and boulders pretty much the entire time after you get off the man-made walkway. It was amazing. It's obviously pitch black dark. Our tour guide is shining a flashlight right now so you can see how big the tunnel is. And this is just, part of it. Again, something you can't grasp the magnitude of until you actually see it in person. It was truly phenomenal. Here I am climbing into a little cave. Our tour guide offered for us to do this, and it actually it's a cave that goes all the way through to another part of the tunnel. I would not suggest climbing all the way through. You would definitely be like splunking at that point, but just climbing down into kind of the depths of this, it opens up pretty big, but not somewhere I would want to be stuck for sure. I was a little bit nervous kind of climbing down into it. You really have to maneuver yourself to get out. And I was just worried I was going to hit my head on that rock up there. But like I said, that's why we have the helmets for safety and for protection. But it was really, really cool to climb into one of these smaller caves and just see what that's like. This was truly one of the most memorable trips to Iceland. They all are really. We've been, like I said, 3 times and had different experience each time. So much to do, so much to see. It is quite touristy in the city in Reykjavik and in the southern region, where everything is most accessible, but that's where everything truly is most accessible. So you can see pretty much everything that you need to see in Iceland by taking a trip to like the southern region and the southern coast. So we did that as well. Our trip last time, we just went in September of 2023. We did the entire ring road. I highly recommend if you're an adventurer and have the time to drive the ring road, don't try to do it in the winter or in the spring in mud season. Do it in the summer or the fall. That is an amazing, amazing trip. For sure, top of the list of trips that I've ever been on. And then the first time we went, we did all the touristy things, Reykjavik, the city stuff, and all of the things that you would pretty much find on Google. And last but not least, there is a very aggressive hot spring in the southwestern region. Here it is. It is just blowing steam water out of the ground. So not one of the ones that you would visit for a spa day. So just a few highlights from our trip. If you have any questions about Iceland, please let me know in the comments below. I'm pretty familiar with the whole country, including the Westman Islands, after our 3 trips there. I truly believe that everyone needs to experience Iceland at least once in your life, so I recommend booking the trip if you've ever considered it. Thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!